I don't think therapists are allowed to tell you to graduate from your marriage or divorce.
I Ayanna Van Zant hinted at it strongly back in the day. Like I've seen her do that on some of them shows. Like I think you're right, Darwin. They can't instruct you specifically on what to do with your life, but they can. Like you could ask a line of questioning to lead somebody down a path. Especially, like I kind of noticed with some people, right, that feel like a certain prototype of man is domineering in their mind. They immediately associate that with being abusive. They don't just see that as being, oh, this is a strong type of man who commands this type of respect in his house. They associate that with being abusive and feel like she needs to escape in some way, even though she's happy and it's not abusive. But the way they view relationships are so equal that both people should be able to be on the same wavelength and talk at each other and fight each other however they need to. And there's an equal balance of power. The problem with that is that's always going to end in a divorce. And those people will always be single.
On a more serious note, I'm going to say this, that because I was just joking with that video, even though it's but I really truly believe that she might have what did y'all say, that one of the 4 pillars of happiness is work? And I think it's no secret that the last show she was on was Family Reunion that ended in 2022. And the very next thing she did was like go to social media to try to build up her social media presence. Because when you know that your career is on its last legs, you kind of try to find or draw happiness from other areas or try to rekindle that career and things like that. And what we do know is that a lot of people, specifically women, when they're unhappy in marriages, it don't have to have anything to do with the man at all. She could have honestly just been feeling like, well, you know what I mean? Okay, my career is done. So what can I do next? And he bore the brunt of that.
So y'all don't
Sweeney,
think
let me
none of the stuff
go
she
ahead,
was
Bruiser.
true? You don't think none of the reasons why she walked away was true? We absolutely just think this woman is a liar.
Wait, what did she say?
In the last clip that JR played, she said that I think somebody on the panel said that he wasn't earning or he wasn't making money or something like that.
No,
I never said
that.
So she never gave a reason why she divorced him.
No.
That's why I keep saying if there's a reason that we don't know about, then maybe it makes sense. But with the information we're presented, it is extremely selfish.
And he doesn't.
And I put that on my page. He said it wasn't infidelity.
And he doesn't even know the reason why she left. Because if you look at the interview, he can't even come up with a reason. But this is what I'm trying to say about the lady herself. I think there is somebody that came to an advisor and started telling her to put out all these stupid ass comments. I'm sorry, clips. It's going to generate her more income. So this has to be done by a publicist. Then the next thing that I'm trying to say as well is this, right? Many of our mothers, especially here in the US and also in Nigeria, have destroyed our daughters. And I'll tell you why. I've seen so many women tell their daughters, make your own money. Make your own money. Don't rely on your husband. Make your own money. Men don't really have the intention to ever starve their wives of cash or access to money or resource. Men generally don't do that. But when you have a woman that have had access to money, and now she's going down, and now her career or age is going to affect her level of income, they will do something that she did. They will try to take a drastic step, even if that's going to destroy her marriage, because she doesn't ever want to be under the financial assistance of a man.
I think Gabrielle Union like that. She said something like that about making sure she pays bills with D Wade. But that's why I be so vehemently, like at the end of the day, I think when people get together and create children, that should be the focus. That's why I'm against leading with your wallet, because if your income changes or your job changes or the market changes or the industry changes, that breaks up your family. That's too much risk. Like I can't accept no risk like that.
But
Like
leading
that's
with your wallet is not only money if it gives you any ease of mind. But somebody said that, I think Kenny said, men don't typically tell their daughters to go out and make their own money or something like that. That might be quoting you. Did you say something
No,
along those lines?
no, I said that men usually will tell their daughters to make money, but men usually prepare their daughters for marriage. But women, our mothers, will tell their daughters to make their own money and not rely on a man. Go to school and don't rely on a man. Go get yours and don't let a man make that money for you because of that fear of that a man is going to control your life if he supports you financially. You see what I'm
Got it.
saying?
Got
But
it.
men generally don't have that kind of heart. Men
Well,
don't starve their wives off some. Go ahead.
I would.
yeah. Hold on. I just wanted to respond to that real quick. I understand what you're saying. I want to believe that men typically don't tell their daughters not to rely on, or men typically tell their daughters to go and get married or whatever. But every time I have an interaction with a guy who has a daughter, these past few years as a creator, as a consultant, every man I've talked to that has a daughter has been telling me that he's been telling his daughter to be self-sufficient and be independent, go to school and go to college. So when you make statements like men typically don't do that, that sounds good. I wish that were the case, but I think over here in America, guys and fathers, you would think that a lot of these guys in the manosphere would do that, but that ain't even the case.
But I was gonna say to your
Like
point,
that.
Bruce. I was gonna say to Bruce's point. He's actually right. As a father, because it's not your job to tell your daughter to go out there and get married. That she's so honestly supposed to learn that from her mama. She's supposed to learn how to be a wife from her mama. She's supposed to learn what kind of she's supposed to learn like what a husband needs or why she needs a husband and all of that from her mother. We as fathers, we're naturally protective of our kids. We're naturally protective of our daughters. We see the whole world as evil tide when it comes to we don't see no man as worthy. So when we talk to our daughters, it really is a go out there and get your we teach our daughters to be strong for themselves, but it's the mother's job to teach the daughters to be soft.
Right.
But I would argue that it's the father's job to help her vet and position herself to be a wife.
No, you would vet
And
her.
whoever man is trying to, okay, go ahead.
You would vet for her husband. You would vet to make sure that she has the right man, but you can't teach her how to be a wife.
Absolutely.
Well, what I'm saying is, so for example, if I have a daughter, when I plan on having a daughter, because that's the last attempt I'm gonna make to try to have a daughter. I got 2 boys now. I want a daughter. If I do, if God bless me with a daughter, I'm gonna cover her until she gets married. So I'm not gonna be compelled or motivated to send her into college or any of those things. If it be anything to learn or anything to be certified or skilled in, it would be things that would help her become a suitable wife to a man traditionally.
This is what does. This is what does.
I would cover her as long as I could until she decided to deviate. Once she deviate, then I don't have any covering over her. But I hope it never gets to that.
It's the parents' job to push their children to the max of themselves. I mean, there's children in other cultures, they're small and they know like 3 languages. And we talking about we can't even barely get anybody to cook rice. We can't even keep our families together. So how can anybody be pushed to their full potential when our families are broken? You know what I'm saying?
But
look at Tia, she's breaking the family. So like that disjointedness subconsciously gets in that child's head that, okay, I seen this happen. Okay, they were together. Now that daughter may say, well, I seen my mom and dad break up. So now she had to do things on her own. So sometimes things we do affect children subconsciously. We don't even have to say anything, but you're supposed to push your children. I see every day, Asian or whatever, they go to school, boys and girls. And you know what they have? They have families and they talk, they have communities and they marry each other and they do very well. And their wealth is good. And they keep the family things going because that's how they do it. And there's
There
nothing,
is
and I see them juggle it all the time. They go to they're very strict with school, and they make the kids do family things. Everything is surrounded around the family. So naturally you're juggling both things and prioritizing both things at the same time. So you're being very
Yeah.
efficient. So I don't know
I,
why we cannot replicate the same thing,
there
but
is,
it
there is
starts staying together.
to add to what you just said right now. This is what I was trying to say earlier. That will also help this conversation, and to answer, and that's to also add to what Bruce has said earlier. The way it's done is this, right? A man is supposed to prepare his daughter for marriage in terms of academy and welfare contribution towards her family. Like, let's say in Nigeria, right? Our girls go to school at a very a higher rate, or close to higher rate compared to the men. The men go to school more than the women in Nigeria. But what happened is that the women also go to school. But what the fathers will do is to make her go to school, contribute for her to go to school, so that she will get a suitable man that will take her, because she's bringing something to his family. So he's preparing her for his grandchildren, and to bring something to the table. You know how they say here, why am I bringing something to the table? In Africa, you as a wife has to bring something to the table. So what are you bringing to the table? Your degree. Because your degree is telling your husband that you're not coming to his house to just sit down doing nothing. So that's why your dad is making you attractive to a husband. So when you get there, you bringing something to the table.
Wake up,
And
Shannon.
in case if something goes bad with his business, or whatever he has going on, you can carry the family.
yeah.
Also
Yeah, yeah,
behind
I agree with
also
that,
you can
and
homeschool
we
the
got to
kids.
start to bring this to a close too. Yeah,
You can homeschool the kids academic as
yeah,
well. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
We're gonna go ahead and end this, man. But before we do, I think context matters. Man, it was an excellent point, like Ikene, because so often we have these discussions, and a lot of shock value is that when a woman has an education, then she wants to be independent on her own. But if you dial it back and you fine tune it, it don't necessarily have to be a bad thing. You know, if you are applying logic to it, right? I mean, nobody wants a dumb wife. Nobody wants a dingy wife. Nobody don't wants a wife that if you have to step away to handle other business, that she can't really hold down the fort while you're gone, right? So I think it starts young. I think there's different elements and pieces that you have to place in your daughter in order for her to have balance, her to know when to use those skills. You know, me, I can go out here in the world, and when danger comes, I know what to do. Now, am I using those skills all the time? No. I have total control on when to be able to exercise, when I need to use aggression. And same thing with a wife. She doesn't have to be combative. She doesn't have to be aggressive. But if she needs to slide in or she needs to fill in the gaps, then she can. But I think a lot of times, due to the world and exposure and society, and a lot of times the parents, man, the parents are hurt, and that's the root of the problem is that the parents have gone through things and they have not been a good parent to those kids. They may have done the best that they could, but when you look at it from the bigger picture, they could have done better, and they failed the child. And now the child has to try to figure it out from this point on because they didn't have the idea upbringing, which a lot of households don't have. So we really got to go to the root. I don't think it's a bad thing for somebody. I have a daughter, so I'm sitting here like I want to have balance, and I think the best example that she's gonna get with that balance is through the mother and the father. So having a mother and father is conducting themselves in a relationship, or whether they co-parenting, is gonna say a lot. You know, does my daughter respect me? Does she respect how I'm moving? Is she able to receive the information that I'm telling her? Like when I'm in the car with her and I had these conversations about young men, is she even listening? Because I'm giving her the game. I'm telling her every single thing that she needs to know. I'm opening myself up to whatever it is that you need to speak to me about. Come talk to me. I want to prepare you so that you know what to expect. I tell her about protecting her jewels, how jewels is everything. Kids are they're growing, so you're not gonna stop them from growing. They're gonna be attracted to somebody. So instead of running away from it, attack it head on and just let them know, like, I want you to be married. Like, these are the things that I see for you. I'm gonna make sure that I protect you and make sure I look after you until I give you away. But I'm not gonna just give you away to anybody. But she has she has a mother that's a great example. So it starts there. That's why when we vet the mothers that we have for our daughters and our sons, we got to make sure that they fit. So if you created some kids and you got a full of shit mother, then it's gonna be a harder job for you to do. But if you vet it properly and you got you a good wife or you have a good mother of your kids, then it's gonna make your job much easier. I don't have a problem as far as being a good example on the mother side.